What's up, people? I'm just chilling. I'm gonna just sit here for a second. You see my dude behind me. I got my guy behind me, Joe. But excuse me. Excuse me 1 second. I'm just chilling. Gonna go live for a little bit. Yeah. So what's up, Tyler? My dude, Tyler Sanders. Good seeing you, brother. I hope all is well with you. You definitely, I definitely appreciate you, Tyler. You know that. You my guy. What's up, Brandon Young? Peace. I'm just here because I just want to remember Ja. You know what I'm saying? It's I'll never forget that day. And it was a turning point for me in my development and growing. So I definitely respect you guys. I appreciate you guys for checking out the live. I'm just here, just trying to remember X in a positive light. A lot of people. I know you are, Tyler. You are, dude. I appreciate you, man. You one of my biggest guys out there, man. I definitely appreciate you, and I hope you staying well, man. Definitely. But I just want to talk about X, because I mean, if you wanted a 5 million, and you guys remember he said 5 million. He wanted to make a difference in the life of 5 million people. He just wanted his life to have some meaning. And if you're one of the five that came to some kind of understanding and some kind of light because of this young man, kudos. I mean, it's great. But he had to understand his mission. He understood what his role was. And everybody has a purpose. And we all have a purpose. And he was somebody out there who was trying to make sure that everybody understand. What's up, Brandon? Yeah, he probably woke up a lot. Yeah, I wish I could tell him too. I think he made a big difference in a lot of people's lives, Brandon. I agree with you totally. I don't think he gets the credit that he deserves. I think everybody looked back at him in his earlier stage and they forget, by the time he finished making his music, and by the time it was over, the impact that he had. I mean, his impact, it's easy to focus on the negative in somebody's life. It's easy. That's easy to do. But some of the greats, if we looked at their lives when they were 18, 19, and 20, I mean, we wouldn't be saying that they made an impact at those ages as far as like what X made. I mean, he had a singleness of purpose, he had a goal, and he was carrying that out every day. I mean, you can go into history and you can look at people like, what would Malcolm X have been at 18 or 19? What was Dr. King at 18 or 19? Just to name a few. John F. Kennedy. What were these guys at 18, 19, 20? John Lennon. I mean, the list goes on. These people, I'm not saying they didn't reach their full potential, but 18 years old and to have that kind of 19 years old and have that kind of effect on a group of people. But I just think a lot of folks don't understand. They get lost. But the mind and the diverse nature of his mind and him being so diverse and being in the things that he was into, he made you think. He definitely made you think. And I appreciate that all the time because I know whenever I listen to his music, I like listening to him talk on YouTube probably more. And I love the music than I like the music because what he was sharing, his message was all love, all love. I mean, and he understood that. Yeah. Well, of course, it's easy to remember him being a crazy guy and not the man he inspired millions to be and help. I dig, and people, that's the surface. Those people who live on the surface and they don't want to dig any deeper and they want to basically call him I don't want to defend him and I don't want to keep on like going into the allegations or whatever. But I didn't know him personally, but he inspired me. He he definitely gave a lot of people a lot of hope. Like I said, the whole thing about him wanting to help those who were less fortunate, wanting to show people their true power and their true gift, wanted to be a light. He wanted to be a light, you know? He's one of the ones I ever wanted to meet too. But remember, X is always with us. You know, he may not be with us in the physical, but X is with us definitely in spirit, and he's definitely, you know, making a difference, you know, to each and every individual who he helps come to an understanding of themselves. And he tells us always, he said he wasn't anything special, you know, and that we could do the same things that he did, and he was inspiring you, and that's real, you know, that's real love. Because he was saying, if I can't teach you how to be successful, if I can't teach you how to become successful, then he said he was a F boy, but I'm not gonna swear. And he was real about that. Always about creating an evolution, always about that. But the one thing about him creating an evolution was him saying that he was the art, and that you are the art. And I think he lived that. He lived the fact that, you know, we got to see him change. We got him evolve right before our eyes. And even if you didn't see him change, and even if you didn't know him, if you look at him and you study on where he was on the internet at an early age to where he ended up, I mean, you could see the evolution. You could see it. But I'm gonna check out this vlog. I definitely want to check it out. I'm going to check it out. Is that on? I wonder, Brandon, is that on Tumblr, or is that on YouTube or something? Just let me know what it's on, and I'll definitely check it out, because I definitely feel like, you know, I mean, I could connect with anybody who could connect with X, because okay, I'm going to check that out. I appreciate that. Anybody who could understand him, I can definitely roll with him, because he was into a lot of esoteric, meaning a lot of occult knowledge, and people may say he was a Satan worshiper, which was a bunch of baloney. And I don't definitely for no. Once you get understanding, and then you know what the game is, then you can see he was way advanced. He was too advanced. So when people get stuck into, like, I spoke to the devil in Miami, I mean, that sounds is a classic, but people don't know. You know, I mean, we encompass what we are, and I think that's what scares a lot of people, is when they really find out what they are and who they are. They're afraid of their power. You know, there's only one power in the universe. There's not two. There's only one. But whatever you give life to, then that's what you give life to. Yeah, his image, I mean, yeah, it was crazy about how people perceived him, but they began to talk. And once you start talking and you start looking for the information, and you start searching for the knowledge, then your whole world changes. You know, your whole world has to change. The main thing is to, like Brandon said, create and evolve. The main thing is that you're growing. The main thing is, I mean, I heard this guy said, go get a dictionary. I heard this guy said, look up karma and look up laws of the universe. You can go to church and your preacher won't even tell you that. And here this young man was telling us, if you could have get past the crazy antics, and you could have get past the things that you may have thought he was doing for attention, and you was listening to what he really said, he would have you on a path of self-improvement. He would have you on a path to learn who you were. He would tell you. That's why I love the song 888. And there's a lot of songs, and I'm not a big rock and roll fan, but I like the alternative stuff that he did. I definitely like the rock stuff he did. I love King. I mean, there's the things, and as an artist, or as a musician, or as just a human, or a spirit, if you can't get what he's saying, then it's not for you. And I understand it's not for he's not for everyone. But the people who he has wakened, or the people who he has alerted, and people be like, oh, I'm just like, if it's not for you, it's just not your time. Maybe you can get it in another incarnation, or maybe you can get it at a later date, you know? Image. And Tyler, I'm glad you brought that up when you talk about image, because you know, growing up, you always read, I don't know about everybody, but I read that God created us in his image. But the most important faculty in your mind is your imagination. Whatever you could imagine, you can become. Whatever you could imagine, you can create. It all starts in the mind. I don't care if you're building a house. I don't care if you're fixing a car. I don't care if you're drawing. If you're an artist and you draw, you have to see it in your imagination first. And I think this guy really, really, really shares his mind. He gives you the roadmap. I don't care for like DJ Academics or Doomus Live or those guys, but I mean, I get it. They have a platform and they ride with X, but I just want to remember X in a good light today. And I know people are probably saying, "Well, it's a sad day." Of course, I think about X all the time, man, all the time. But I don't think of him in a negative way, and I don't think of him with the tattoos. If any of you guys get a chance to see that documentary on Netflix on Little Peep, I thought that was interesting. About the Master Key. Yeah. The Master Key is great, but anything by Robert Carley is also great. I love the Master Key. Focusing and concentrating is the hardest work you ever do. So if you can focus on your mind, and you can focus on the Master Key, and you can use it, I mean, it still comes back to you. It all comes back to you. It brings it back to you. It brings it back to your mind. And remember, it takes discipline. It takes discipline. We have to be disciplined, and not everyone can stay concentrated and focus on the task at hand. Not everyone can do that. But yeah, the Master Key was great. But I love it when he tells you study your laws of the universe. I mean, do you know how many laws of the universe there are? I mean, it's amazing. But I never heard anybody say that, because it's a science. It's a science. Our lives are guided by laws, principles. But if you don't know the laws and you don't know the principles, then you're working against yourself. You're working against the universe. You're working against God. You're working against the Creator. You're working against Ka. You're working against your well-being. So when he tells you to study the laws of the universe, I mean, it's probably one of the most profound things that anyone could probably do for you. And when you look at the laws, I have a book by Brian Tracy, which is a business book. He talks about the laws of the universe, and he has a lot of good information. You can see his change. Of course, he went. Of course, yeah, he was the villain. And he always said that it was hard to be the villain. Yep, and he did that change, and I remember that mugshot, and everybody was crazy about it. But he and the darkness in his eyes, and he talked about that. Yeah, and it's not cool being a villain. And the good thing about that is he not only showed us, but he told everybody, like, it's not cool to be that guy. I was that guy. I was tired of being that guy. That took a lot of energy and a lot of wasted energy on being that crazy villain. But when he came to his light, when he came to his truth, and he started walking his path, I mean, I don't know what exactly happened to make him make the shift that he made, but there was something that had to happen. There was something that had to happen that he got it. I'm not saying it just clicked, but he got it. He got it real fast. He said he was always different, and he was always he felt like he was from the moon. I mean, okay, guys, I would put Spotlight, Moonlight against any song, and I would just listen to see what song would anybody put up against that. I would put Sad, Bad. I would put any of these guys. I mean, anything Alicia Keys got shook because she was saying, what are you so afraid of? And she was afraid of the backlash. But as an artist, people can't mess with him as an artist, because he understood his power. He understood the power of his mind. He understood the laws of the universe. He knew what it took for his success. People don't know about those nights on the road as a kid. as a kid. I mean, he was a kid. Think about it. No mother, no father, on the fucking road every night, in and out of clubs, in and out of hotels. People don't understand. Imagine the shit that this guy went through. People don't think about that as a kid to gain success, to do what he had to do. Yeah, I saw the academics interview. I definitely saw that. Oh, the way he articulated himself was unbelievable. You know, he was definitely ahead of his time, but I think he handled academics pretty well. But I got a little like ticked off with Ack in that interview because I thought there was things that Ack probably shouldn't have asked, and I think Ack, being a little older than X at the time, should have known better to even ask. But that's my personal opinion. He did all, yeah, X did all that by 21. There's people who live 50, 60, 70, 80 years and don't even accomplish half of what he does, half of what he did, or inspired anyone to do anything else. They're just a bunch of bloodsuckers, young bloodsucker. They're just like a bunch of bloodsuckers who don't do anything, who's not trying to help anybody. And even that law, when he says, he talks about giving back and helping people. He told a story one time about giving an old woman $500 around Christmas time, and he felt so good about doing that. But people don't even they don't even dig that far to understand the stuff that he was doing to help people, the stuff that he was doing to make things not just. Oh, you talk about the Helping Hand Challenge? Come on, Brandon. You already know Drake already jacked them for God's Plan. He jacked the Helping Hands Challenge. And, you know, even when that whole deal went down with Drake, X, as an artist was ready. He was primed for that. He was primed for it. But that's working every day. That's starting, whatever the goal is or whatever the mission is, starting with the end in mind. X already knew what the end was. He knew. He had that in mind. He knew where he wanted to end up, and he knew where he wanted to be. I mean, this guy bought his grandparents' house. He bought his mother a house. He bought his freaking self a house. And even the way he moved, he had all those cats around him. But I know what I was saying. He really was on the road talking all over. Tyler, facts. He really was on the road to take it. He was gonna. He told academics he was the king of music, and nobody else could have said that. Elvis, Michael Jackson. This guy was gonna be the biggest. And if you couldn't see that, then you missed it. You missed something that was phenomenal. It's crazy how the media displayed him when he did one thing bad and the media wouldn't forgive him. Well, that's life. But when he gifted kids like 10, yeah, they're never gonna see that. They're never gonna say that. They're never gonna talk about the good. You know, come on, man. If they crucified Jesus, you know, X didn't stand a chance because he went against the whole system and he knew it. He knew he was going against the system and he was waking too many people up. You know, he was just the stuff that he was saying. I mean, nothing like got me like his freshman triple XL freestyle. Man, you can listen to that right now and it's still fire. It's blazing. Come on, the guy rapped, the guy sang, the guy probably was dancing and acting. We don't know. I mean, anything that he put his mind to, he wasn't good at. He was great at. And the reason why he was great at it is because he understood singleness of purpose, singleness of mind. He understood what it took to succeed. He didn't scatter his energy all over the place. When he wanted a hit song, it was on that hit song. I mean, you could not be a decent artist and mess with X because X didn't. He wanted some people who were going to work hard as him, who was going to grind as hard as him, who's going to love music as much as him. He could have been a phenomenal actor. I mean, it was no talent. This guy was beefing with the Migos. He was beefing with the Migos. I mean, he was way before his time. He was way out ahead of everybody. I mean, and even when I listen to the stuff that him and Ski did, I mean, it's like I understand why Ski had to do what Ski had to do, but man, X was that dude, and the reason why he was that dude is because he understood who he was. He was who he was. He was barely on the radio because the media owned it. There's no doubt about it. There was no doubt about it. I mean, he was always defending himself, you know, and if you dig up, I'm sure you could dig up dirt on him and you could find the dirt on him because it's there. It's there. In the media, I mean, they've got a job. Remember, they're selling ad space. They're selling newspapers. They're selling commercials. So, yeah, they got to do whatever they got to do to get their money. But X didn't need the media. Remember, he built a cult following. A cult following. As a kid, like how? You tell me how. You know, he was versatile. Like he could go from screaming, which I hey, yo. I mean, come on. You know, I love it. I love it. I mean, I used to love the emo stuff he did. I mean, I'm just he could have rapped like the boom bap rap, all that stuff. He did it, and I'm telling you, as an artist. We lost a soldier. As an artist, we lost a great teacher. He wanted to teach, and you don't see people who want to just inspire others and who want to just teach and who want to just share. And the truth of the matter is, X probably wasn't supposed to succeed, and he probably wasn't supposed to come from nothing into something. And what happened was he came from nothing and he became great. And I laugh because when he was in interview with Adam 22 one time, he said, they're not going to want me to be alive if my kids are alive because we're just going to run the world. And I laugh because this guy was really serious about that. And he was really serious about mastering his mind. Yeah, everybody's going to have dirt. I get that, Brandon. Yeah, he was from the bottom, man. He was from, he was from Deerfield. He was from Pompano Beach area. I mean, it's tough. I had a friend who went down to Florida and Pompano Beach in 2008. He never made it back to Massachusetts. So I get the area. Yeah, the No Jumper interview is definitely a classic, man. I mean, anything but it's just the amount of information that you could pull from him. And remember, he's only pointing you in a certain direction, you know, and he wants you to think for yourself. And he tries to get you to think for yourself. And that's why I respect him and I respected him and I enjoyed listening to his music because if you listen to him, he wasn't pushing anything on you. He was just like, hey, maybe you should check this out over here. Lord of hell. Yeah, I'm sure. But he was smart. He was brilliant. I mean, the boy wasn't stupid by no far of imagination, but he'll tell you he was at one point he was crazy. He'll tell you he was out of here. He was out of here. But the evolution and what he became, I think, is the story, you know, the story of his life. And I think so many people miss that. They miss the person that he became. It's easy to look at the newspapers or look at the stuff and say, oh, he beat his girlfriend, or oh, he did this, or oh, he did that. I'm not disputing any of that. I don't know it. I wasn't there. I love the guy because he tried to shed light. I love the guy because he was trying to help people. I love the guy because he was passionate about what he did. I love the guy because he was helping those artists that nobody knew about. I love P&B Rock. But would I ever had heard of P&B Rock if it wasn't for X? No. I like Juice WRLD. When Juice WRLD was around, when he was alive, but would I ever know who Juice WRLD was? No, I would have never known who Juice WRLD was. I mean, Uzi Vert, I would have never known who any of those guys were. I would have never known who the mumble rappers were if it wasn't for X. I would have never known who the SoundCloud rappers were if it wasn't for X. He was a genius. There's no doubt. Listen, man, I will never dispute that. I will never dispute that X was a genius. Because when you start listening to X and you start really studying like the material and you start following the breadcrumbs, he's going to take you down the path. And if you do your homework, you're going to be like, wow, this guy was a genius. And he said it. He said, people won't know he's a genius until he's dead. But I'm going to even take it a step further. A lot of people won't know X is a genius until probably like 150 years from now. And then they're going to be like, this guy was a genius. Now there's a lot of people now, 5 million people in the world. Let's say it's 5 million. Let's even say it's 10 million people who know about X as an artist. All right. But I mean, is that a big number? I mean, come on. So I don't know, but I think in 100 years they'll still be talking about XXXTentacion. You know, the unknown temptation. They'll still be talking about him. And if you don't study, if you don't understand what he was into, then maybe you should ask questions. But from an artist standpoint, from a music standpoint, I would put his music up against anybody. I remember him doing, what's the song that he did? A song like Kurt Cobain, I Smash. He did that every time. And listening to his music, if someone think he wasn't a genius at the time, right? I mean, come on, you already know. Riot was Riot. I mean, come on, he was just, yeah, he was ahead of his time, but that was him. And there's no, I guarantee, I would have loved to see his work, his process on him creating his music. I would like to see what he did in order to come up. I would like to see the producers or meet the producers who worked with him, just to try to understand that mind. I guarantee you that guy was in his room all the time. In the home, he was probably thinking, and he was probably meditating, and he would probably get off in his deep meditation, and he would go in another room. I can almost bet you before he even come out, because the stuff, oh yeah, definitely, the stuff that he was coming up with was just phenomenal. It was phenomenal. He was just coming up with some stuff, and like I said, I mean, I could listen to his albums. I could listen to 3 or 4 of his albums, and just like, wow. And when he starts talking about music frequency programming, I mean, that might have been the thing that really, like, because he gets into it. He gets into the science. He got the science. People don't get it. He hurts, understanding what it does to the mind, understanding what areas to attack in the mind, to get people to go into a hypnotic state. And then he talks about astral projecting. Oh my goodness. I mean, he talks about astral. I agree with you, Brandon. He talks about astral projecting. He said he only did it like once, but he tell people not to really mess around with it. But the things that he would get you on, and he wasn't afraid. And he would tell people, you don't have to be afraid. People always afraid of what they don't understand. And he would say this: people are afraid of what they don't understand, and a lot of people didn't understand him, which is fine, and that's cool. And he knew that. But with all that being said, he said he was 15 learning. Yeah, he said that programming, it could make it, absolutely. And I mean, just agree. Listen to the 17 album. Like things like the 17 album, that album like picked me up, dragged me, and it was like holding me up like this. And I'm like, yo, I'm cool. I don't think I'm depressed. I don't think anything's wrong with me. But that album just picked me up. And then he just like laid me down, put me to sleep, and was like, oh, you okay? I mean, I love that album. But at first I thought, I was like, man, this is a little weird. This is a little creepy. But no, that stuff is classic. His music is classic. It's timeless. It'll live forever. I'm a big X supporter. I just definitely wanted to come here, guys. I appreciate each and every last one of you guys for checking me out. You know, I know y'all are infinite creators. I know y'all creating and y'all evolving. Tyler, it's good to hear from you. Brandon, I appreciate you, brother. You know, and anybody else who's out there checking us out, and anybody who's going to check it out in the future, you know. And I'm going to show y'all this picture because I bought this over the summer, and I just want to show y'all this before I go. You know, I'm just a supporter. This dude, he is that dude. He's that dude. You know, my wife's like, what's this thing about this dude? They don't understand. They don't understand what he's been or what he meant to a lot of people. The guidance. I mean, and the guidance that your teachers don't want to teach you. The guidance that a lot of kids can't get from home. I mean, X provided that. Even as a badass, he came back and he realized. He said, let's not make Shooting and robbing, cool. Let's not make killing people cool. He was like, let's not make that being bad cool. He said we need good people. We need good parents. We need good individuals. And he told us that. And he told people that. So I think when you got somebody who's successful, by when I say successful in this world, meaning like material things like that, he knew it wasn't about any money. He liked it, but he didn't care about that. Let's make it cool to be a good person. And I mean, think about it. You gotta love that. I mean, here's this guy dealing with his own demons. He's dealing with his own problems, and he still turned around, reached back, and was thinking about others. Thinking about others. No, he was responsible. He was one of the last responsible artists. He took responsibility for his art. Whatever he put out there, he was responsible for it. You know, and most people don't. They don't even want to do that. You know. If we live in a world governed by feelings and emotions, let's make it a good one, eh? I'm hip. You know what I'm saying? If we live in a world governed by feelings and emotions, then hey, let's make it a good one. I mean, when I heard that was crazy. He fixed himself and he fixed 10 million people and he got us on the road. He got some people on the road to living a better life. You know what I'm saying? You try to live a better life. And and that, to me, what greater love is the man that laid down his life for a friend. I mean, he definitely was sharing, and he definitely helped me on my journey. And like I said, I was just walking into what I'm into now and improving. I was always into personal development for a while and self-help and things like that. But when I heard this guy, it just like he propelled me to another level. I'm like, what does this little dude know about any of this? But the spirit, realizing that we're spiritual beings, starting to love himself. They took, man, yeah, it was sad. You know, I think he knew he was going to be a dad, and he was loving. And I don't think the way he went out. I definitely think those cats were freaking on like MK Ultra or something. They were just hating, and they just saw him, and they was like, "Come on." Usually when that happens to people, they're usually in their own hometown or something like that, and they're not thinking, and they got it down. But he was an amazing young man who was making a difference in the world. And like he said, he would always say, everybody's going to get a deserving death, you know? And when people understand their power, and I think he knew this, you can't put that out there. You just gotta put good out there. You gotta Brandon Gekum, different form. Of course, I mean Gekum. And when I heard that, I was like, wow. When I saw the sad video and I saw Gekum and I heard about that, I was just like, I was amazed. Because you could tell he was definitely dwelling in his mind, in the mind, and he understand. Like, people don't realize that their mind. People don't understand that their spirit. If you ask most people what their spirit is, they couldn't tell you. They can tell you. You can ask people who go to church, well, what's your spirit? And they're gonna give you. Ask anybody. I don't care if you're Catholic, Christian, Muslim. I don't care what religion you are. I'm not going to disrespect anybody, but ask them, what is your spirit? And see the answer you get from most people when you ask them what their spirit is. But X was like, spirit is mine. When I heard that, I'm like, what? And I thought about it for a second. And and we all are part of the collective consciousness, whether we want to know it or not. I mean, and I'm just like, I was just amazed by the light and the love. I mean, and like I said, I never tried to apologize for anything that he did, or I never tried to make excuses for him because he didn't make excuses for himself. But I think if, like he said, if Drake was to show him some love and say, "There, Your Honor, I love this young man. He made a mistake. You need to give him a chance. He deserves a chance." Yeah, and all he wanted was some love. All he was looking for was a big brother, somebody to help him out along the way. And Drake could have provided that for him. He could have provided him a space where he could have created. And I don't think that was done. I don't think I mean, he was so into other things at that time, and there is a responsibility that we all share. Brandon, you dropping it, man. Hey, I feel you, brother. I feel you. And that's why I love connecting. And I try not to talk about X all the time, but I realize today's the day. That day, I'm not gonna forget that day. I know that. And yeah. Tyler, come on. I get it. Well, X presented, he was that guy. X told academics he's the king of music. Not one genre, just music. He was the king of music, and nobody could dispute that. If you knew music and you know X, you wouldn't. It's not even close. It's not even close. I'm just like, yeah. I mean, we know Drake is the GOAT. X called him the GOAT. X said Drake is the GOAT. X said he would only apologize for going at his mom because he shouldn't have went at his mom. I get it. I respect that. I get it. He said he shouldn't have went after his mom's, but he saw Drake as an opportunity, like Drake saw him as an opportunity when Drake tried to extort his cadence to his song. We all know how that went. And people will be like, oh, and then Drake gets on an interview and say, I don't even know who this guy, some kid named X. Like, Drake, you just picked the wrong guy to mess with the wrong time. That's all that happened. But I mean, Drake is the GOAT. We all know that. But X has a cult following. He had a cult following, and he was the king of music, and he was going down to be that was his goal. He had no other goal. His purpose was to be the best musician ever. And if there's anything you could take from his life, find yourself your goal and be that. And just have that singleness of purpose. Whatever your purpose is, you choose that and you decide that. And if you want to be the best, I don't know what it is that you do to talk to someone. Yeah, I agree, Brandon. I agree. Not everybody gets it, and not everybody get them. But like I said, when you find your purpose, no. I'm not gonna say find your purpose. When you create your purpose, because we all get to create our purpose. You create your purpose and you live your life according to that purpose. Keep your diary. Stay motivated. You will achieve what it is that you want to achieve. And I think he was one of the great examples. And he said he was locked up, but I think it was probably more. I don't know if it was a prison, but it was like a detention center for probably boys, or halfway house. And I'm sure it wasn't cool, and I'm sure he did things that he didn't like doing. But X was definitely that guy. He will definitely be missed. And I just think the world lost a warrior. The people lost a champion. You hear what I said? The people. It's like the actor you. Well, that's the secret to life. You are the actor. You're the director in your own life, and you are the actor, and you do get to create who you become. You decide that. Nobody else gets to decide that for you. Nobody. So each and every one of us has to take responsibility for our lives, but act as if. If you want to be a superstar, want to be successful, start dressing. Go get some new clothes. Go start acting successful. And your subconscious will pick up on that. You will start drawing the people and the things towards you. So to make your life what it is that you see it as. You have to act the way you want to be. You have to. You know what I mean? If you keep on telling yourself you're broke, your subconscious mind is going to say it is as you say. It's the genie of the mind. If you say, oh, I'm tired, your subconscious mind is going to say, it is as you say, because you are the actor in your own movie. And that's the cool part about life. You get to act and be whoever you want to be. If you want to be a super rapper, knock yourself out and become a super rapper. If you want to be a super actor, if you want to be a baseball player, football player, if you want to be a dancer, everybody will get their chance. Believe me, everybody will get their chance. Brandon, you're right. Whatever you put out, that's why I always try to share. Like, I don't care about no haters because I'm an infinite creator. I'm not going to put out hate because I don't want hate. So why would I ever put out hate? I'm only going to put out love, because I know I want love. I'm only going to give what I want, and I tell this to my kids. I say, listen, your world or the people around you is only a reflection of you. So whatever you get back is basically that's what you are. Give a smile, you get a smile. You throw a punch, you get a punch. So be the change that you want to see. And I think people find it hard to do that. Whatever you want, that's what you have to be. Be the winner because you are a winner. Be that difference maker because that's who you are. Be the key for somebody else's life. Spark somebody else's life because you've got divinity in you. You've got greatness in you. You are the best of the best. The best of the best. I mean, I go hard sometimes because every person who rock with me or everybody who checks me out, I know how we connect, and I know what connects us, and I try to stay true to that. And a lot of times I get off topic sometimes, but I know when people want to hear about Ja, and I get it, and I think I have a responsibility in a certain way to make sure people know that this wasn't some piece of shit kid. This wasn't some bum. This was somebody who was a son. This was somebody who was going to be a father, who was a brother. This was somebody who was a person. He was a person, and I think I try to show him in a positive light because that's the light I saw him in. I mean, the way he loved his family. I mean, of course, people don't see him like that. He was a funny guy. I mean, he was a great person. But how many people got to know that side of him? I mean, if you're in and out of the system and you work hard, for him to achieve what he achieved, it wasn't supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to happen. And a lot of people know that. I mean, this guy was on the billboards. He was on the billboards. And then, like you say, they radio stations wouldn't play him. I think I heard him, and I live in Boston. I live right outside of Boston. So when I heard him on the radio one night, it was maybe like 12:30, 1 o'clock. And I think I was coming home with my daughter, and I heard Sad. And when I heard that, I'm like, they don't play this guy. Why they don't play him on the radio? And it's sad because they don't play him on the radio. He was definitely the Michael Jordan of that freaking that genre. He was definitely that Michael Jordan for that generation. He was definitely. I mean, could you imagine him at 30? Could you imagine him at 40? I mean, and it's heart wrenching, but he knew what his mission was. He definitely members only. Yeah, members only. And I mean, I like Roll Peace, him and Kodak. I think people sleep on Kodak too because Kodak plays this role. But I'm not gonna get into Kodak. But people, he plays his role. But when X got on that track with him, I mean, that was probably the Roll Peace was like I'm gonna say the second song second or third song that I heard from X, and he was on the track with Kodak. And I remember going to the Y every day, and maybe for like 3 days, and this was just before this time, 2 years ago. And I would always hear I thought it was G-Eazy at first because I was hearing Jocelyn Flores, and I never heard this young man. And then I started hearing more music, and I'm like, oh my goodness. Yeah, I know. He was definitely into his mind. I know he said he was definitely gonna do that, even become a monk. I mean, but that should tell you he knew what his mind was. He knew how important his mind was. Why do you think people wear helmet when they're playing like sports, like football, or they're protecting the brain when they ride a bicycle or a motorcycle? Because your head, it's everything. It's everything, guys. I mean, and it's when you understand it, when you come into that understanding on what the mind is, I think game is over. Game is over. And he exposed a lot, and he said he understood why certain things were in plain sight, because the wrong information in the wrong people's hands, it would be a problem. And he said he fuck with the government. He said it. He used to say it. But that's why I said I don't think the way he went out was a coincidence. I think that was, whether it was MK Ultra or something, or people just hating, it just didn't have to be. And I think he had so much more to give. But guys, I'm not gonna stay on. I just like I said, I wanted to share some love with 4X because at this point 2 years ago, he definitely appreciate you, Tyler, man. Thank you for checking me out, and thank you. You stay safe too, man. Peace. You know I love you too, brother. Long live Ja. Definitely, he was waking too many people up. I agree with you, Brandon. You definitely welcome. I thank you for showing up, man, and stay positive, man, and you will achieve everything you want. Thanks, guys. I'm gonna post this. I love y'all. Remember, we don't care about them haters because we are infinite creators. Peace. What's that, Brandon? Song or lot? Okay, you got it. Let's see, Brandon. Last question. Favorite song? What's my favorite song by X? I'm gonna be honest with you. I definitely gotta be honest with you. And I feel like before I get off of the screen, I'm gonna tell you this is my favorite song by X and why it's my favorite song by X. Hope. Hope is my favorite song by X. I think it's classic. It's timeless. It's eternal, and it isn't long. It's short, but it's so big. It is so big. I think hope is unbelievable. Envisioning a better life. I'm gonna find a way. Envisioning a better life for us. I mean, the lyrics. I mean, unmatched. The production is crazy. The flow is crazy. I like Hope. Hope is probably my favorite XXXTentacion song. I think Long Live Ja. Long live Ja. Hope. And I think he gave a lot of hope to a lot of people. So Brandon, I'm gonna end with that, brother. I love you. Be safe. Stay positive. Well, I don't know. See you, bro. Oh, man.